What's up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to show you how to pick up that pesky 3-3-5 wide manual rush defensive meta. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, like this YouTube video, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online head-to-head gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. And trust me when I say that the last two Vault updates that have gone out, the last week of 2020 and the first week of 2021, have completely changed the defensive meta as you know it. You may have heard about the ability, but you need to get all the details from the source. Check it out. No matter what defensive playbook, formation, or preferred zone coverage you like, we are going to take that coverage to the next level, breaking down the exact abilities and how this concept works. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's talk about today's video. This is an important video. As you guys know, I'm an under center player. I've always been an under center player, playing this game for about 13 years. I can count the number of years that I have played from a shotgun-based formation, probably on 2 or 3 fingers. So, you know, this is something for me every year when there's gap pressure or there's a manual rush meta, I have to get my pass protection set. Now, members on Gridiron Game Plans have known this formula for about 2 months now, but a lot of you are getting sick and tired of the nickel 3-3-5 wide with the manual rush. In particular, there's a lot of players that are doing this with 4 one-step aheads or 3 one-step aheads that also happen to have acrobat. So basically a lot of man coverage and manual rushing through the gap and relying on the AI to jump anything that moves. That is the main defensive meta. So we're going to focus on how you can block this under center. Now, why under center? Why wouldn't I get back in the shotgun like so many players that play in the bunch or, you know, the trips tight end type formations? And my answer for that is purely, I like to be up in the pocket. When you're under center, you are closer to the line of scrimmage. You can cancel your dropbacks from under center. In my opinion, when your opponent is blitzing heavily, it is easier to quick pass from under center because you don't get those awkward side snap animations in the shotgun. You don't get those high snaps where the quarterback jumps, or, you know, low snaps where they have to bend over, disrupting your quick pass timing from shotgun. It's all the same under center, and I like consistency. So I'm going to show this to you from a couple of under center formations. The first one is a very, very popular formation, the strong close. I know a lot of you guys run the strong close meta out there, and we're going to break this down against obviously your nickel 3-3-5 wide. There's 3 main defenses that you can do this out of, in my opinion. You're going to have the 2 Mike blitzes. So the Mike Blitz 3, which is a cover 3 match zone variant, and then the Mike Blitz 0, which is a cover 0 blitz. Obviously, you can set this up out of cover 1 robber, cover 2 man if you're quick with adjustments and want to drop guys in zones. But I'm going to focus on some of these stock plays that have the outside linebackers blitzing. Another play you could do this out of would be the 3 Sam Will, which has both outside linebackers, and then the middle linebacker is your manual rusher. So let's go ahead and take the field with this Mike Blitz 0. Now, the thing about the 0 blitz that makes this a little bit tougher is that sometimes with 0 blitzing, when you block a player, that player that is manned up to the blocker decides, okay, well, since he's not running a route, I'm going to blitz. And that's called green dogging or +1 blitzing. It's basically a formula that says we're going to send 6 at the 5 offensive linemen that are blocking. And if they decide to block a running back to make it 6-on-6, we'll send the guy that is guarding the running back to make it 7-on-6 instead, keeping a mathematical advantage. So that's why you see a lot of the man coverage variation of this blitz, because sometimes that +1 will get you a fluky sack. So let's go ahead and take the field with wide trail here against the Mike 0 blitz. Now, for most players, what they're going to do is they're going to shift their line one way or the other, left or right. And that's going to open up an A gap to loop into. From there, a lot of players will also pinch their linebackers, crash their line up, and QB contain. These QB contains are huge because what they're trying to do is flash that A gap, get you to panic with your quarterback, move left or right too drastically, which causes the contains to block shed. So that is the goal of those. But in order for them to do that, they have to be able to flash the A gap. So what a lot of players will do is they'll kind of offset their user, put him into a zone of some sort. This just makes it so the offensive line doesn't know that he is a manual rusher. Typically, most players like to blitz their user when they're in coverage. I know that sounds crazy, but obviously it makes your user faster. If you aren't blitzing your user and this is news to you, there's a free tip. But most players have been blitzing their user all year long to make them able to turn more quickly. Another thing players are doing is they're coming out in the nickel 3-3-5 normal, which allows you to put safeties at linebacker and then audibling into the 3-3-5 wide to get more athletic players, not only in the contains where they shed and chase the quarterback, but also as their user as well. So that is something you'll see is people that will come out 3-3-5 normal and audible into 3-3-5 wide. But for the purpose of the manual rush, they put this guy into a hook curl because that tells the offensive line, which is borderline psychic, hey, this guy's in a zone. We don't have to worry about him. So as it pertains to the lineman, you got 5 rushers. This contain, this D tackle is 2, 3 for the other D tackle. Technically this guy's a defensive end, but you get what I'm saying. 5 across against 5 rushers, and then this guy becomes the 6 for pressure. So if I do nothing on this play, a lot of times you're just going to come in through the A gap and you can get to the quarterback for a sack, even with the running back blocking on this play. So the way that you counter this meta, let me go ahead and set this up again here. The way that you counter this meta is to pay attention to the defensive line. If they shift their defensive line to the right, you are going to block your running back and then also slide protect to the right. What this is going to effectively do is tell the running back to block to the left. Now, you can manipulate running back blocking sometimes, but in general, the running back under center tends to slide away from the actual slide protection, meaning if I slide protect right, the running back tends to look left. This means that the free runner in this play is now off the edge, and I'm telling my offensive line, you make sure the interior gaps are blocked. So rather than a free runner through the middle, you're now taking a risk with somebody having to shed off the edge. Again, like I said at the beginning, I'm not preventing this, it can still shed, but you're not going to get the guy coming in through the A gap because he's going to be able to be blocked by the AI. Now, what you saw right there in that example was the perfect example of why people like the cover 0 blitz, because when this running back blocks, you notice that the man playing him, number 28, says, hey, he's blocking, I'm gonna blitz too. So now you're plus 1-ing. So it's 7 on 6. And this is why the cover 0 variant of this blitz is so good. Now, the good news is that if you can show proficiency in beating man-to-man coverage, most players are going to go to the zone blitz version, which doesn't have these extra man-up rules. So pay attention to this. This is something that you can, obviously get around. There are ways that you can prevent the +1 from happening. Now, let me show you an example. You notice that in that example, that was a situation where Himes was blocking, and the man that was manned up on him ended up being the nickel corner, right? So let's go ahead and set this up again. You can experiment. If I were to go ahead and do this, now let's go ahead and block somebody else as the extra guy. So how about this time we send Hines out on a route? A lot of players like to run the running back out on a route. I know I'm not on a hash, but that's neither here nor there right now. How about we block our fullback and do the same thing, slide protect to the right. Let's see what happens. So we do this, we try to fly in. It looks pretty good, right? Maybe a little bit better user. You're able to get in free there. We'll go ahead and try that again. In general, I tend to lean with the tailback blocking or tight end with a slide protection, just for the record. But here it is with the fullback. So we block the fullback. I'm gonna send the running back out on a route. I'm gonna slide protect to the right. And when I snap this ball, I'm gonna try to fly in through that gap. You see that the AI covers it. The fullback goes over to the overhang rusher. Again, the same logic applies for the fullback as a running back. If I slide protect to the right, my fullback, which counts as a running back, will look to block left. So while it looks scary, you see that Quentin Nelson clearly is going to pick this up. And then this fullback goes over and takes this contain rusher off the edge. So really in this spot, what would be better would be a situation where they weren't containing, because contains are a little bit slower off the edge. So if somebody were to run this without containing, basically do the exact same setup and just leave the guys rushing, it will actually come in a little bit faster. So block the fullback, slide protect to the right. I'm gonna send the running back on a route. So it's the same deal here. We try to fly in. You see how that guy is able to get around the fullback. So a lot of players tend to contain, thinking that their manual rush will cause you to panic. And then if you panic, the contains will shed. Well, this blocking formula will pick up anytime they contain, it'll work that way. Now, obviously, certain angles are tougher. A running back that's directly under center behind a quarterback is going to get to the left than better than an offset fullback. Now, if my opponent were doing it, say, this way, where they were to shift their line to the left, contain, crash up, we would have to follow the rules of slide protecting to the left, meaning that if I were to block my running back, slide protect to the left, now all of a sudden the running back is going to block to the right off of this. So when we do it this way, you see how it's stonewalled. So the formula rings true. Pay attention to the way that they shift their line, slide protect that direction, and block a sixth player. Depending on who that sixth player is, it might cause some cover zero type +1 rules. You notice that in that previous example, the man that was manned up ended up gliding across the formation instead of +1 blitzing. You see that this guy ended up covering the fullback out of the backfield from all the way across the field. So you had this quick pass the entire way out in the flat. And then obviously you have your man beaters, your angle route, your slant, etc. Now let's go into, and I'm going to move the ball here to a hash. Let's go ahead and move into some of the zone blitz variants of this. So we go ahead and let me go ahead and go under center into basically the formation I've been living in, which is the single back ace. This is my favorite formation in the game. So go ahead and choose the nickel 3-3-5 wide. And again, you could choose 3 Sam Will, or a lot of players just like to go with the Mike Blitz 3 because of the safety in the purple zone. And they're going to set it up the same way. Now, this is ace, so this is a symmetrical formation. If they shift to the right and do it this way, again, a lot of players are going to have to, send this many players against this. When you see that, you block the running back, slide protect to the right. Now, because this is a zone blitz, you don't have +1 rules. You've got mathematically 6 guys for 6 rushers. So now when they do this, they try to manually rush in, obviously make good reads, but I'm not really setting up any hot routes or anything here. You see that we're able to pick that up. There's no worries about a guy manned up on the running back adding to the blitz. It's purely 6-on-6. We slide protect to the right, which took the user rusher out of the equation. The guy of concern became the left edge. The running back is responsible for him. You see that he has an eye on him? We're able to get the ball out, beat the zone blitz accordingly. If they were to do it the other direction, let's say they go ahead and shift their line to the left this time. So their blitz looks like this. We go ahead and recognize that. Line shifted to the left, we slide protect to the left. So we do that. Now, when they go to manually rush, there they are. We're in good shape. Obviously, again, make better reads, but we're getting the blitz picked up. Now, what if they shift their line one direction and then they offset their user the other way? So what if instead of overloading right here, what if they go stand over here and try to loop into that A gap? If you see this happen, it is the exact same rules. Pay attention to the line, not the user. Slide protect left. Block the running back, slide protect left. Now the ball's snapped, we try to fly in, the guard is there, we make our read. And the other thing is if they're gonna rush through the middle, you're gonna be able to throw the ball quick off the line. Streaks, low ball routes to the tight end off the line, outs or corners, for instance. Texas routes if you have apprentices. Anything quick to the tight end will make them pay if they're in a zone variation of this. So here we go with another example. They slide protect right and offset left. So we go ahead and do it this way. We see that, we pay attention to the line. So the line shift is to the right, we slide protect to the right and block our running back. And then from here, if it's a cover 3 version of this blitz, you're just gonna go ahead and do this and then, quick pass, obviously off the line. Hopefully you get an animation. but you're going to be able to see which safety rotates down and hit the seam accordingly. Obviously, I'm holding 2 controllers right here, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge. Now, if you want to get tight ends involved, go ahead and show you here. If I were to set my line this direction and offset and run it like this, let's say we want the running back on a route. Let's say maybe like a wheel screen. We know that we're slide protecting to the right. So we go ahead, because the line shift, slide protect right. Let's go ahead and block the tight end on the left. Try to use that running back rule. If you slide protect the line one way, the extra blocker goes the opposite side. Let's see how that goes. We do this, it's picked up. You got your running back screen clearly out of the backfield. So you can slide protect and block the backside tight end. What about the front side tight end? What if they shift to the right, set up their defense, something like this. Make sure that's not wiggling there. What about the front side tight end? Can I block Doyle and slide protect to the right? Snap the ball. That works as well. So under center, you can block a running back. You can block a tight end on the side of the shift. You can block a tight end on the side away from the shift. The shift is really the thing that tells you what to do with your slide protection. If they slide left, you go left. If they slide their D-line right, you go right. Just make sure you block an extra player. Typically, running back or tight end under center is best. Offset fullback can run you into a little bit of trouble, and obviously watch out for the zero blitz rules. If that player is adding to the blitz because you're blocking your running back and you're still not able to pick it up, then try to block somebody else. Again, if you try to go back to that, the problem with the zero blitz is that sometimes it's a little bit infrequent. So go ahead and go back into strong close, for instance. And I believe we were setting it up this way. You noticed in the previous example that when we block this running back and slide protect to the right, that this player right here, Amadi, was making things problematic. So when we do this here, you see that he tried to rush in, and that screwed things up. So if that happens because of the +1 rule sending 7, you need to get somebody else blocked. So tinker around and find out who that player would be for yourself in your formation, whatever it is. You need to go into the lab and try this against Mike Zero Blitz, flipped and unflipped, to double check and make sure that there's no one that's going to surprise zero blitz you off of this. So if the running back is getting you sacked, that should be a tell that you need to get the running back out on a route to make sure that guy doesn't come in free off that side. And then from there, try to block accordingly. Maybe it's a tight end, maybe it's a fullback, but you need to make sure that you're paying attention to that to make sure that, you know, you're able to pick up that particular zero blitzer that adds in, or prevent that from happening altogether. So maybe you block a tight end, not ideal for most players, but when you do this, you're hoping that, you know, that slide protection works. If not, you know, you try somebody else. But you see that the formula is sound. Pay attention to the shift, block an extra player. Start with a running back and typically go to a tight end. Running backs can lead to the +1 blitz. Typically the tight ends aren't as bad with that because it's a safety that's manned up, not a nickel corner or a linebacker. So hopefully this video was beneficial for you guys. I wanted to take a look at under center blocking. So many players have said your offense looks awesome. I want to run that single back ace that's on gridiron, but I'm scared about the manual rush. So I wanted to alleviate those concerns. Like I said, gridiron members have known about this slide protection rule for 2 months now, but I wanted to get this out there for the rest of you, hopefully help you guys understand that this manual loop rush from 3-5 wide, while very annoying, and I definitely have raged about it a fair amount myself, is counterable. And from there, it's knowing how to beat your zone coverage or knowing the routes that can beat the one step ahead meta. So thank you so much for watching the video, guys. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out gridirongameplans.gg. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you guys here on our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.